Sleep loss is a big problem in our society. We are busy all day and all night, and sleep keeps getting pushed aside. This lack of sleep affects our ability to remember things. But why do memories vanish when we don't sleep? Are they gone forever, or is there a way to actually bring them back? These questions have limited answers, but together we can explore a solution. Let's uncover the power of unconscious stimuli to potentially reactivate forgotten memories after sleepless nights.
Sometimes if I sleep less than 8 hours or 7 hours, then I really feel like it changes how much I remember very specific facts.
Yes, staying up all night actually has a contrary effect on me. I hardly remember anything I studied.
You've all probably experienced this. After just one night without any sleep, your memory starts to suffer. But what exactly happens to your memories?
Actually, memory and sleep go hand in hand. If you don't sleep, it also has detrimental effects on your memory, especially memory about facts and events, also like numbers, are largely affected by sleep loss. So when you're awake and learning, your brain makes brief and unstable connections. The central hub for facts, events, and concepts is a so-called hippocampus. The memory needs to be integrated into other parts of the brain for long-term storage. This integration is actually what we call memory consolidation. During the day, the brain is very busy taking up information, so it doesn't really have time to store anything permanently. That's why we have sleep.
During sleep, there are a number of molecular signaling pathways that facilitate this long-term integration and storage. Signaling molecules act like a cascade of dominoes to activate genes and other signaling pathways needed for memory storage.
What is very unique to sleep are actually the different oscillations that happen during specific stages of sleep.
Imagine your brain as an ocean, and within it there are these waves called oscillations. When you sleep, these waves can synchronize and work together to transfer information from one part of your brain, the hippocampus, to other parts called the neocortex. It's like a flow of waves guiding the transfer of memories, allowing them to be stored permanently.
So we know a lot about the molecular and physical changes that happen in the brain that lead to memory impairments, but what we don't know is if the brain still stores some information somewhere, but it's just very hard to reach, or if the information is not stored at all. So previously we used mice models to actually show that you can reactivate a memory after sleep deprivation. We therefore invasively stimulated specific cells in the brain to reactivate that memory.
Reactivating a memory to remember better? That sounds great. Of course, we would like to know if this is a possible solution to do this in humans. But to apply this, we need to find a suitable replacement. So we looked at many different methods and we found that the use of subliminal cues could actually be used to reactivate a memory in humans. A subliminal message is a cue, like an image or a word, that is presented at an unconscious level, 60 milliseconds to be precise. The hypothesis is that after sleep deprivation, you will not remember much of what you have learned the day before. If we use a subliminal cue that entails the information we need for learning, it could reactivate your memory and make us remember the information. Let's dive into a fascinating experiment that explores the power of subliminal stimulation. Imagine we present you with a set of objects to remember in the morning. Throughout the night, you stay awake, contemplating the objects, trying to memorize them. The following day, you bravely make your way to the lab, where we await to test your recall. However, given the lack of sleep, it is expected that your memory might not be at its best. But what if we take a different approach? What if we were to show you the very objects you were asked to remember, but in a subliminal manner? Perhaps this subtle exposure could enhance your memory retrieval. Now, with the objects unveiled, it's time to put your memory to the test once again. Will the subliminal presentation make a difference?
To test this, we need a group that undergoes sleep deprivation and a control group. And we also need them to undergo rounds with and without stimulation to see whether it has an effect on performance.
The results of this could foster novel and progressive contributions to memory research. By addressing this, it may provide innovative insights into the underlying mechanism contributing to memory impairments in human participants.
So, as a participant of the study, how do you think this could benefit society?
Well, I very much like the approach. So I would say if you further develop this, make it a standard experimental approach for studying amnesia through non-invasive memory reactivation, there could be a lot of additional benefit for future research.
By combining this with other pharmaceuticals, we can reactivate memories, but also induce long-term storage of the memories.
This specific methodology could benefit other forms of memory impairment, such as anterograde and retrograde amnesia, but also Alzheimer's disease, and it could be a potential treatment for consequences of sleep disorders. Exploring the use of subliminal stimulation to reactivate a memory in sleep-deprived human also, of course, raises important ethical considerations.
To ensure that everything is confidential, they had to give written consent and were briefed about any risk involved.
So there are actually a few risks because, of course, if people are sleep deprived, they are less attentive to their environment, which means that, for example, they need to come to the lab and they need to bike. So we tell people not to actually bike.
Throughout the study, participants were instructed about the aim of the research and the experimental procedure to ensure transparency and also accountability. And there we have it, a potential way to help all of these people with memory impairments. But what's next? What's the plan moving forward? Join us as we uncover the next steps and discover how we can make a real-life difference.